Feel free to stop me if I've mentioned this before, but I quite like Bladnoch. So today we've got the latest release from Bladnoch. This is a no-age statement called Vinaya, and it's taken me a few goes to not call it the Bladnoch Vinaya because, well, I'm an Umbrella Academy fan, so you know that. It's an easy mistake to make. I need to do some disclaimers with this one. I didn't buy this. This was actually sent to me by the Bladnoch distillery. And there'll be some exciting stuff that we'll be getting to in, let's say, a minute or so. But yeah, just a quick bit of disclosure. This was sent to me by the Bladnoch distillery, and they said up front they want an honest review. So that is what I'm going to be doing here today, because, I mean, you don't approach me if you want guaranteed nice words, because it's me. I can be a bit of a dick sometimes. One of the things I've got to say actually about Bladnoch, and again, not prompted or anything, they've reached out. I've seen with like a few videos, like, you know, they do keep an eye on like what people think of their products, because I mean, I would imagine they care quite a bit, you know, as you would when you're making something, or you should when you're making something. And they always give very professional responses, regardless of where your opinion sits on it. They've replied to some of Ralphie's videos, they've replied to some of mine, and they've always been very courteous. If, you know, you have bad things to say about the whiskey, or, you know, less positive things, what you liked, what you didn't, they'll take it all on board. I like that, you know? It's a very mature way of approaching marketing, and I appreciate that. One other little thing as well, there has been some people like me and other people on the internet as well whinging about there is some information missing from the bottle, so I'm going to quickly reference the much beloved 10-year-old. On the side flank here it says non-chill filtered and then gives the ABV. And a few commenters, myself included, were whinging that, well, it's not complete information because I can't see anything about colouring on here. I'm sure it is, but, or isn't, but there's no information. So I definitely got a reply to this saying, hey, we'll be taking that forward in the future, and sure enough, newest release, it's there alongside it. So it now says non-chill filtered and natural colour, and the ABV's been moved down because it's, I don't know, gotten a demotion or something. So we'll be talking about this whiskey in a minute, but first I need to do an announcement, because I don't get to do these very often. On Monday, the 29th of March 2021, we're doing a live stream. Yay! That in itself is not necessarily very exciting, because I've done some before and they've been, you know, they've been alright. So for the live stream, it's not just going to be me. I'm going to have a couple of guests coming along as well. I'm going to have Will Pitchforth. He works at Bladnoch and he's going to be giving us a guided tasting of the Vinaya. And I'm also going to have Moa Nilsson. She's better known as Swedish Whiskey Girl on YouTube. She's been doing some incredible stuff. She's another Edinburgh denizen who likes her whiskey, so I thought, do you know what? Been meaning to do something with her for a while, so let's get together and taste some whiskey, yeah. So that'll be happening on Monday the 29th of March 2021. If that is in the past for you, then you'll be able to click up here now and watch the entire stream. We're planning on going for about an hour, pending questions and technical issues and all the rest of it. And if it's still in the future, then you can click on that now and set yourself a reminder, and it will let you know when that stream goes live. If you can make it, please do come along, because Will is getting up very early in the morning, because he is in another time zone. So yeah, he's having whiskey for breakfast, basically. Very thankful for him to do that. And now I need to embarrass myself, because I feel like it's only fair. I got Will's name wrong. When I decided, oh, I'm going to promote all this, I got his name wrong. I put Pitchford, not Pitchforth, which is a really rookie screw-up. And I thought, rather than try and hide the fact I did that, I'd just be like, I'm an idiot and I really should have double-checked that. So apologies to Will, and I'm sure a few people noticed it as well. It's like, hang on, that says something different now. It's all right now, but at the time it was awkward. I didn't notice until he pointed it out, and it's like, just a heads up. I was like, oh no. I've put out so many posts and things, so I had to go back and correct a lot of stuff, but fair's fair. I should have checked. So, me being a terrible host out of the way, we're actually going to try some whiskey now. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. So the Vinaya, we've got the box up there. There's some sort of basic information, but the key thing that we're interested in is an ABV of 46.7% ABV, and also ex-sherry and ex-bourbon. So this is the first time that I, knowingly at least, have tried any sherried Bladnoch, which I'm excited about because I really like my sherried whiskies, and I really like Bladnoch, so this should be a winning combination. It is a touch darker than the 10-year-old and the 11-year-old that we've tried previously. Again, cards up here. Okay. You know, initially on the nose, it's reminding me a lot of cream soda. There's this wonderful, like, fruity vanilla scent up front. It's got almost like a confectionery sweet edge to it. There's a fair bit of oak influence coming through because, duh, it's, you know, a whiskey. But there is something really creamy and luxurious about the aroma. It's reminding me of things like baked flans, and do you know, I'm going to go in again with custard apple because it kind of is. It's got that kind of like a baked custard flavour that custard apples also have. So by extension, I get to sound cool by talking about custard apples. Are custard apples cool? I suppose conceptually they're quite cool because, I mean, they're not like a mutant or anything, they just grow. I love custard apples, they're so strange. As it develops, there's a bit more of a tannic edge to it. It's coming in close to kind of like black tea. If you just started pouring like a bit of like carnation cream in it or something like that. There is something kind of like brioche about it as well, like a buttery bread. I'm digging the nose. Let's see what it tastes like. I have a tasting note, and it's weird. Does anyone ever remember about 16 or 18 years ago? Fruit Pastels launched a limited edition jelly and ice cream flavoured fruit pastel pack. It tastes like you took one jelly flavour and one ice cream flavour and chewed them together. I had a lot of those as a kid, and that's the only reason that's like sparked a memory in my head. I haven't thought about that for years. And that's triggered that. So I had a comment fairly recently, somebody saying, it sounds like you're just making up tasting notes. I understand why. Because, I mean, I'm wild, but still. To bring it back down to earth a little bit, it's kind of like an apple custard flan. So there's like buttery pastry, there's a wonderful, rich custard in there. And there's like a little bit of like baked fruit, kind of like apples, or if you've ever baked pears as well, it's that kind of like a almost subdued, slightly starchy flavour they take on sometimes after they've been in an oven for a while. It is kind of reminding me of the white fruit pastel from nearly 2 decades ago, though. Actually, how long ago was that? It might even be over 2 decades. I should not remember that. They were good though, I don't know why they discontinued them. Hashtag bring back jelly ice cream. Roundtree fruit pastels, non-spawn. Actually, this is spawn, so I can't say that. I'm going to go out there and say this now, and there's probably going to be some people that disagree with me. Fair enough. There has been a dividing line for people that really liked this. This was kind of like an epiphany whiskey for a lot of people. And I think part of that is because Bladnoch is one of those distilleries that a lot of people before a certain well-known bothy-based YouTuber had mentioned, not a lot of people really knew that these guys were even still a thing. And the 10 was, you know, a revelation to a lot of people. And then the 11 came along, and I want to quickly say as well, I still like the 11. The 11's great, but it does a very different job from the 10, which is weird because, like, taken from basically the same cask makeup as my understanding. But it's kind of incredible the difference a year makes. Which is, you know, why age statements are important ultimately. For people that really liked the 10 and felt a little bit let down by the 11 because it took on such a different character, this, I think, plugs that gap quite nicely, even though it's got a different cask makeup and we don't have an age declaration on it. It's reminding me a lot of the sort of almost addictive's never a good word when it comes to whiskey, but like this Moorish, is that better? Barely. Vanilla custard, baked flan, approachable but at the same time really luxurious and luscious flavour that this had. I've really been firing through that, haven't I? I need to seek some more of that out at some point. But actually, this does an excellent job as sort of a surrogate whiskey in many respects. I don't know if that was maybe the intention of this. I'm going to find out fairly soon. Link. I'm not great at this whole promo thing, am I? I'm not a natural-made salesman, which is worrying given it's what I do for a job, but hey-ho. Given a chance to open up as well, there is a little bit of like a black currant-y kind of a fruitiness to it. It's quite faint, and the other notes that I've already picked out remain prominent, but there is this little bit of like a super juicy dark berry fruitiness coming through, which makes a nice little counterpoint. That could well be the influence of the sherry casks, although I'm not 100% certain. It's just like a little bit of a vein running through it that I'm noting. Would we nowhere if we didn't add a little bit of water to this to see how it goes? Now then, I'm going to be gentle. There we go, just a little bit. It was at that moment that I realised I've left my teaspoon in the kitchen, so I'm glad I didn't screw that up too badly. We're sort of carrying on along themes of a baked custard. So I'm going to throw creme brulee into the mix because it's, you know, similar but different. But there is, yeah, more of the tannic qualities are coming through now. And there is almost like a, I don't want to say acrid note, but there is like a dark caramel note. It's got like this richness and a little bit of like a acidic component to it as well. It's reminding me of that smell of freshly burnt sugar, essentially. I'm not sure if I'm selling that very well, but it's what it's giving me. But yeah, as it's developing with the water, there is again, it's becoming more tannic, so there's more of like the black tea notes coming through. There's a bit more of kind of like a bitter fruit element as well. Getting like a little bit of like a cranberry. If anyone's ever eaten like a cranberry just on its own, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but it does have like this really super tart flavour to it. Maybe we just had bad cranberries, I don't know, but all the way through this, there's been this lingering, heavy vanilla character, accentuated with other fruity bits and pieces and sort of tea-like tannic qualities as well. A little bit like new leather as well. I know whenever somebody mentions like leather in a whiskey review, or indeed in any context, the first thing that comes to people's mind is not a new leather sofa. So, for once in my life, I'm going to say get your minds out of the gutter. Oh, it actually hurts saying that. Let's see what it's like with a little bit of water in there as well. It's gone from ice cream flavoured fruit pastels, it's gone a bit more kind of rice pudding. It's got a slight lactic quality to it. It's still got a sweet, creamy flavour, but it's like this little edge of something else in there. It's got like a baked milk kind of a flavour. That doesn't always sound very appealing. Whenever you mention milk, it can go one of two ways, and that depends very much on what people's personal experiences with milk have been, and I know it can be a weirdly divisive thing given how prevalent it is in society. Man, that was a disclaimer and a half, Jesus. Oh yeah, man. It's a super appealing flavour. As it's opening up, there's a lick of licorice in it. It's not dominant and it's not overwhelming, it's just kind of at the back there. It gives it almost like this slightly peppery bitter note to complement the sort of consistent vanilla sweetened condensed milk kind of a almost dessert-like mix that you've got with it. There's a touch of coconut in there as well. It's really opening up actually, and it's lingering. It's just kind of continuing to develop. I've swallowed that about 40 seconds ago now, and it's continuing to kind of like give me new notes. Maybe I'm just thinking about it more, I'm not sure, but it's developing a bit more. You've still got a little bit of like peaches and stone fruits in there, so kind of like nectarines, kind of a juicy stone fruit kind of an element. I'm doubling down on the coconut because it does have this lovely, almost quiet tropical vibe to it. Going in for another sip now, I'm getting a bit more kind of like slightly underripe raspberries. That sort of not necessarily pleasant sort of tart quality that they have sometimes if you've ever had a raspberry that's not quite there yet, and you're like, oh, raspberry, and you're like, ugh. And then again, it's developing into like evaporated milk, a little bit of like spun sugar, caramel, little bit of vanilla ice cream as well. I know I'm back on ice cream again. It's variations of the colour ice cream and vanilla at this point, but it's an element of strawberry in there. Sort of like stewed strawberry. Strawberry jam, I'm going to go with. If like it was one of those like reduced sugar strawberry jams. You know, the ones where you're kind of like, oh, that's strawberry, man. And there's not a lot of sugar in there. I'm going to finish by saying it's surprisingly pleasant and complex. I don't know why I said surprisingly there. I think I was partly nervous that I was going to hate this. Because like, what if I really don't like this? This is going to be awkward as hell. Luckily, it's not the case. I think it takes confidence sometimes to send out a product to somebody who reviews products that don't necessarily always say nice things. It's brave, certainly, but I think it helps that the ones that do, and I've said this time and again, but the ones that do have to be confident that they've made something good, and they kind of just want, you know, like if you've ever done anything creative, like you've drawn something, or you've edited something, or you've made something online, or you've written something, and you feel really good about it, and you want people's feedback, but what you actually want to do is just show off how great you are. I think there's a similar thing going on here, and fair enough, I applaud you, Bladnoch. Let me know down below, have you had a chance yet to try the new Vinaya? I realise it's only just gotten out there, so fair enough. I'll leave a link down below as well to where you can buy it. What I will say for now is make sure that you check out the live stream. If you're living in the future, then make sure to catch the replay, or if you still have a bit of time before Monday, then click on the link and it will set a reminder for you, and you can join us on the day and make sure that you interact with us and ask questions. It should be a fun evening, or mid-afternoon, or morning, depending on where in the world you'll be joining us from. For now, though, I will say thank you very much for watching, and do join us next time, where I'll be drinking something else.